And we are live. Hello to all my BC WrestlePod nerds out there. And welcome back to another rendition of NXTilosos, the sexiest NXT review show out there on the internet. My name is Mikey. I am El Jefe of BC WrestlePod. And joining me this evening is the Pleat Father himself. The Kilt Man is in the building.
Hello.
Hello. I'm
Hello.
happy. Hello.
Hello.
Echo.
I can make that happen. Wait, no, I
No,
can't.
no, you can't. No, but I am happy to have you here, Kilt, and I am happy to be back. Obviously, we didn't have the show last week because I may or may not have been dying of heat exhaustion. So that was the thing that happened last week.
Yeah, and for those in chat who don't get to see our text messages, Mister's like, "Hey, man, I just got out of the shower. I might have heat exhaustion." I'm like, "All right, well, cool. We'll cancel tonight so that way you can heal." No, we gotta do this. I'm like, dude, it's okay. I didn't watch it either. Let's just take the week off so that way you can rest because that's more important.
It was a trying time last week because we were where I live. We were in the middle of a passing heat wave, and it was gross. It's still hot now, but it's not as bad as last week. But we are here to bring you another edition of NXT. We're gonna get into this. We are 1 week out from Stand and Deliver, NXT's biggest show of the year, and our final show for prediction season for the 2025-2026 season.
So much predictions.
So we're gonna see how that all turns out. We have two matches officially made for Stand and Deliver, and the first thing that was announced to us about Stand and Deliver is not only is it on YouTube, but for some reason, Sexy Red is gonna be there, and I'm like, all right. I don't know what NXT and Shawn Michaels' love for Sexy Red is, but you know what? It is what it is. But before we get into the episode itself, really quickly, I'm going to get through the intro bits of things. YouTube, Twitch, and Kick is where you can see us go live. YouTube houses our edited versions of these said live. So either way, you can watch those. If you're looking for something more self-contained, we have social media at BC WrestlePod, where you can see clips of our shows, put report cards of the TV and the pay-per-views, previews of the TV and the pay-per-views, because I make nice graphics and they're fun to do, and a whole bunch of other hijinks on the social media. So feel free to go follow us there at your favorite social media site. We also have merchandise available at our shop, BC WrestlePod, shop.fourthwall.com. Of course, Kilt is wearing, one of our BC WrestlePod logo shirt. And he also got a NXTilosos shirt and a hat, which was really nice.
My hat's hanging up next to my door, and my shirt's in the clean clothes
right
now. Washed it.
So if you want to look as fashionably cool and hot and sexy like Kilt here, you can check out the link in the description of the chat as the links to our socials, and our merch store is available there. And then last but certainly not least, we do have a coffee bot. We pay for a lot of streaming services and pay-per-views. So if you would like to help us continue to provide content to you at home, feel free to donate, but it is no pressure because we know that times are tough right now, and we love you just being here and watching us talk about professional wrestling because we're passionate and we love this. Alrighty, with that out of the way, let's get into this episode of NXT. So this is a pretty straightforward episode of NXT. We're setting up some stuff for next week. Even though they didn't call it, we are heading to NXT Roadblock in Madison Square Garden next week, I was just like, don't know why we didn't call it that, but okay, cool. This should be fun. But then we're also making strides as we are finalizing the matches that are going to be on the card for Stand and Deliver next weekend. So that's also going to be there. And stay tuned for the end of the show for more information on what that is going to entail for us. But let's get into this, Kilt. So we kicked off the show. First things first, we're going to talk about what the first match to officially open the show. This is a tag team match. Of course, we have our new WWE Women's Speed Champion, Ren Sinclair. Love Ren. She is great. And newly called on over after officially being done with Evolve. So Kendall Gray is officially part of the NXT Women's roster. Love me some Kendall Gray as well. Former WWE Women's Evolve champion. And for those of you who don't watch Evolve, Kendall and Jackson Drake are the two champions, had their final matches over the last 2 weeks. And the stipulation is that they would either get pinned and lose the title in their final defense, or if they won their match, they would immediately vacate the title but still go undefeated. So Kendall ended up vacating the title as she won her final defense before moving on up to main roster of NXT. And so she remains undefeated and as a Women Evolve Women's Champion. Jackson Drake of Vanity Project did not fare as well because he was pinned by Aaron Rourke, who is the new and current WWE Men's Evolve Champion as of last week. And listen, however you feel about WWE and their machinations and for them getting publicity, I, for one, am happy that Aaron Rourke is the new WWE Men's Evolve Champion, as he is WWE's first openly gay champion. Can't believe I said that. It is Lord and Savior 2026, but
Fuck yeah.
openly, I should say. We know that there are a lot of people on this roster that are part of the community, but they cannot say it. But Aaron Rourke is out and proud, and he don't give a fuck. So shout out to Aaron Rourke. We love it. But anyways, that is why Kendall is here now, and now she's part of the NXT women's roster. And of course, these two, Ren QCC were taking on the Fatal Influence, Fallon Henley and Lainey Reed. Hot damn, this was a match to start off with. This match was really good. I really liked this match. There's some good back and forth from everyone. And Kendall Gray is about to become a menace on this roster in like the rest of this year. I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, it's gonna be really good. The only thing I really want to say about this match, besides the fact that it looks like this is gonna be probably the start of the either breakup or ending of Fatal Influence. Just an assumption. Maybe by the end of the year, maybe after WrestleMania. We'll know. Don't know. Not gonna sit here and make too many guesses, but because they've been losing, yeah, obviously Bren is now the speed champion, and I'm going to say this because I need to be horny on Maine for a moment. But damn, her ass has a recoil. Anyway, moving on. She's like, what? Fuck, what did I get myself into?
Hey, we're 10 minutes in, so we're fine, I guess.
Oh, I know. I don't even care. It's and the things you notice when you're not paying attention, and all of a sudden you see something that you aren't expecting. And I saw it live first, and I was like, "What? Do it again." Anyway, all right, I'm done being horny on Maine.
That is Kilt's horny on Maine segment for this week.
Yes, I'm in the gorilla position after dark.
No,
that is still gonna be my favorite running dumb joke that we have is the gorilla position after dark.
No, but I agree with you wholeheartedly, Kilt. I think because of how we have had Fatal Influence get mad at each other, and then especially with, well, it's two sides to this, right? Fallon and Lainey have been losing a lot, and recently JC cannot win without the assistance of Fallon and Lainey. So I don't know. I'm going to talk about this in a little bit, but I do want to talk about what happened after the match because this does go into what I'm going to be talking about in terms of Fatal Influence. But Ren QCC pick up the win here. Kendall gets on the mic and she says, former women's Evolve champion. She won this match with Ren, and Ren is the new WWE Women's Speed Champion. And Kendall's gonna add some gold because she is gonna fight JC and break her jaw and take that title. And then Lola Vice comes out and she says, "Kendall, I 100% agree with you. It is time for NXT's women's locker to have a shakeup and have a new champion." But she said, "Mamita is going to be me, and I'm going to become the first ever Cuban NXT Women's Champion." And so Robert Stone coming out. Robert, we have to talk because I love you, but you were a little pushover this episode. You were a little pushover, and you need to have a plan, sir. I cannot hear you. Anyways, while Kit fixes that, Robert Stone comes out and is like, "Look, you both make great cases. So Robert Stone makes the match next week. That is going to be Lola Vice versus Kendall Gray. And a winner is going to go on to Stand and Deliver to face JC. So that should be great. Welcome back to the realm of podcasting, my friend.
I know sometimes this is why I need to stop messing around while we're live, because I'm like, oh, let me just add this one thing and I can, I can manipulate this. No, it cut. I don't know why, but whenever I add any other channel to my Elgato Wave link, and I tried to make it so that way I can like put it in a sound effect, so I can just click something to have a random sound effect pop up. It takes all the audio that is coming in and puts it into that channel.
Interesting.
And then I'm like, oh no, I don't want that, and so I deleted it, and then I couldn't hear anything from you.
Oh no.
I have streams in the background that are like almost muted because they're good friends of mine, and I want to tease them in a minute when we're done. And I could hear them, but I can't hear you. No, that was not fun.
Anyways, so here's what you missed. We are getting Lola and Kendall next week. Winner faces JC at Stand and Deliver. So should be fun match. Fun times indeed.
Yeah, we're having Lola and Kendall, and nope. I'm gonna pause because wait, was it was Lola? Yeah, it was Lola and Kendall. Okay, for some reason my brain was thinking we were having. I don't know. I think I'm stuck on Thea Hale constantly losing. So
we'll get to her in a moment, unfortunately.
Yes, we will get to her. So that my brain thought for some reason that those two, Lola and Thea were going. I should probably go to sleep soon. But yes, let's continue.
ADHD at its finest.
Unmedicated.
Love that. So we're going to see Lola and Kendall next week. The winner becomes the number one contender, and we'll get a match at Stand and Deliver versus JC next weekend. So should be fun. Woo. But we're going to continue on with the show because next up, this was the messiest airing of the dirty laundry that I have ever seen. What I love about this, I'm gonna talk about the crowd because the crowd irritated my soul in this one, and so does the internet wrestling community. But what I love about this is that both of them aired out their emotions, they aired out their grievances, they aired out how they felt, and honestly, no one is right in this. They are simultaneously both wrong, but both right in a weird way as well. This feels like a messy breakup, and I'm here for it. So that part I liked.
This is a messy breakup, but it how it's right and wrong at the same time for both parties is because of a potential, like a former friend or someone else started whispering in ears, and they thought they were cheating on each other. Basically, That's how I see this. It's bad. It's lazy story writing. Now, granted, yes, I did want to see them split up after a while, or at least pursue singles things and not always be together. It's just I skipped this promo. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Hey, you know what? Somebody's got to watch the whole show. I am here to do that. So I didn't hate this. I actually did enjoy this. My issue comes with and we talked a little bit about it like in our text messages. I'm still trying to figure out why and how, mostly why has everyone in the PC suddenly flipped against Soul? I don't understand. Now, granted, I love me some Zarya, but why? Like the last 2 weeks, I'm like, damn, you guys. I was just like, it's the running joke in the wrestling community, but I was just like, when she did that Stephanie McMahon podcast episode, I was just like, y'all are doing this because she black, isn't it? Like, honestly, I was like, what? But I just kid with that. But no, in all seriousness, I don't understand why the PC and the internet wrestling community has turned on Soul so much. Again, I love Zarya. I think this match is going to be fun. I love both of them. But why do we hate Soul all of a sudden? I don't understand. She hasn't done anything really to warrant her being booed like this, and it's not like a Cody situation where you're continuing to push him to the top. Soul has not. I'm like, what are we doing? I don't get this. Kilt, what do you have any thoughts
I
on
have
any
some
of this?
thoughts. I think it's the perception of this break is they're trying to make it as if Soul's the reason behind the breakup because she's always going after things and leaving Zarya behind or taking the spotlight over Zarya. And they're trying to basically make it so that way she's the villain in the story. Um, and the problem is they're trying to take two baby faces and turn them heel, and one isn't really good at being a heel. And I'm like you're trying to force Soul to be a heel, and it's not working, my lord, my. Sorry, I literally I went to. Sorry, I went to click away at notification that was like someone liked something on Disc. You sent on Discord, and I got distracted because I almost said my lord.
My
Um,
lord, my lord, I love that. Anyways, but
there's a
I
whole thing, but anyway, it's poor. It's lazy writing. It's bandwagoning mostly. I don't have any like contempt for. I'm not upset with Soul because a lot of the situation is not her fault. Like for a specific example, the the tag match where whoever got the pin got to be the got to go after the title.
mm-hmm,
It wasn't the way they made it play out was they forced a tag when no one was paying attention.
mm-hmm.
Like Soul didn't tag, but Zarya bumped her, and the ref counted it as a tag. So it was like that's not Soul's fault because they went for a double pin, but they counted it as Soul's win. So it's still not Soul's fault. Now, granted, Soul should have been a little bit more aware and a little cognizant of, hey, I shouldn't be taking the pin here, storyline wise. I know everyone's gonna say it's made up. It's made. I know. Fuck off. Trying to think things. And the situation sits is it's not like they're forcing. Well, it's trying to throw a forced perspective. They're trying to make it as if Soul's the bad guy, and for some reason, the PC has latched onto this and is following it because the PC is very big into Zarya.
Mm-hmm.
They're big into both. That's the problem, and because Soul's the one that's kind of being pushed as the villain here. That's where the PC's going, and that's where everyone online's going. But it's stupid. It's lazy writing. It's bad. I'm trying to think of the phrase. It's bad showmanship on not showmanship, but it's bad
I'll say
viewership.
this, right? I think there are many different ways that you could make the story a little bit better. And this is where I'm getting into this of why I have an issue with people turning on Soul like this is because more recently, and again, I understand that sometimes collectively as a internet wrestling community, which we are a part of, whether we like it or not, sometimes our attention spans are really, really short, right? So more recently, yes, Soul has been casted in this light of her not being the bestest of friends to Zarya and really being kind of out for herself, which I understand. We love this friendship. But but honestly though, I love them as a tag team and they work really well together and I think they're really cool. But at the same time, though, like from a storyline perspective, at some point they're gonna want to become like the main women's champion. And so you're gonna have to put ego aside. And as much as they work well together, they also understand that they want to be at the top of the card. Now, where I feel what has happened is that the story that we have been telling for the last 2 months is that Soul has become more selfish, which, is true. And that's my viewpoint. Like she is going to get, she wants to be NXT Women's Champion, which is fine. However, I don't think that her actions have been very malicious in the way that people are making it out to be. But like I said, for me personally, I know I think Soul is not really cognizant of the way that she's been treating Zarya. I don't think she has been intentionally malicious and forgetting about her, but I also don't think she's given it much thought either. And for that, Soul in character, I want to say that in character, she's wrong for that. On the other side of it, Zarya has a right to feel upset in character for being left in the shadow. Soul is kind of putting her on the back burner. She just wants Soul to be more honest with her. But on the flip side of it, she's also wrong because what people tend to forget prior to what we've been seeing for the last 2 months, let's backtrack a little bit. When Soul was hurt, Zarya took it upon herself to defend the Women's North American Championship, which Zarya lost. Then Zarya couldn't get to the Speed Championship when it was vacated in the tournament, and she lost. Prior to that, Soul and Zarya even no, before that, Zarya was given an opportunity because Soul felt like it's her friend who should get this, where she fought TNA Knockouts champion Liang Li for the TNA Knockouts Championship at Genesis in January and lost. Prior to that, Zarya and Sol Ruka not only had one, but two shots at the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. And both times, Sol Ruka and Zarya have lost that match. Why? Because Zarya have inadvertently speared Sol and cost them the match by accident. But people aren't mentioning that for Zarya. This is all I'm saying, right? And again, I'm talking about in character. Zarya and Soul, I'm sure, are very lovely people outside of the wrestling characterization. But from what I'm being presented on television, people are not following the story all the way through. And I forgot the name of the content creator that said this very perfectly, but I'm like, everybody is having a goldfish memory and forgetting that Zarya has kind of messed up as well. So if we're going to tell this story, there needs to be equal blame here. So that's why I said both of them are in the right, but they are in the very wrong too. And NXT isn't really fleshing out the story with the writing that it could be, is all I'm going to say on that one. But thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I don't want to spend too much time on this because we still got the rest of the show. But guys, I'm passionate about wrestling. Damn it. This shit matters to me.
Yes.
So the bottom line of this is that Soul challenges Zarya to a match at Stand and Deliver. I'm like, that's happening. Now, the question is it going to be a regular match or are we going to add stipulation? Like, is it going to be a street fight? Is it going to be something crazy? We're going to find out next week. So, but we continue on with the show because speaking of which, we also have people, besties, kind of fighting backstage where Ethan and Ricky kind of saying to kind of get into it. And Ricky is like, bro, I need you to be out there with me because I'm gonna take care of Tony D'Angelo, and then I'm gonna go after the championship with Joe Hendry. But Ethan's like, but Ricky, I'm the one that pinned Joe, so it should be me who gets this opportunity. Josh Briggs is upset because they're fighting about who's gonna get a championship match, and he can't even get 5 minutes with
They're
Robert
doing
Stone.
Josh dirty.
I'm so mad. I was like, listen, I know Josh is up and down when it comes to his characterization, but I love Josh Briggs. I was just like, now, granted, I'm glad that we might be putting him in something to do because he's the special guest referee next week because none of the other NXT refs want to ref that match with Keanu Carver and, oh my goodness, Keanu Carver and why am I blanking on names already? LFG winner number one, Undertaker's pick. Oh
It
my
was
gosh, the dude with the chain. Why am I? My brain had a fart moment.
I want to say something about Oscar, but I can't remember.
It's
Hold
gonna
on.
it's
Hold
gonna
on.
annoy me. Jasper Troy. There we go.
There we go. Jasper Troy.
The neurons took a while, but they finally connected the dots. So yeah, Josh is going to be special guest referee, which is nice because none of the other NXT refs want to ref Keanu Carver versus Jasper Troy next week because that match is going to be on and popping. But so he leaves. Ricky and Ethan continue to argue. Joe Hendry comes in and says, I don't care who it is. I was just like, whether it's Ricky that takes care of Tony or whether Ricky takes care of Tony or not, I'm still getting my hands on Tony D'Angelo. I'm like, I smell a four-way. And we're going to talk about that when we get to the main event. Because right after this segment, we get into the second match. First of all, Thea Hale. Love this new look, girl. Love it. It is fantastic.
Gorgeous.
Love Thea. This essentially was a squash match because this did not go more than 3 minutes. Thea got some stuff in. Kalani Jordan hits the finisher. 1, 2, 3 for the win. And I was just like, guys, did Thea do something bad? Like, why is she continue to lose and why are we not pushing her? Like, what is happening? I don't understand.
I don't like the way that they're taking Kalani in this kind of.
Oh, that's the other thing too. I agree with you. Kalani's new direction in character, I don't like it either.
Oh, I'm gonna be a bad bitch. You're a girly
You
girl. Sit down.
you could be a bad bitch, but not like this kind of bad bitch.
You ain't fucking Miss Parker. All right, sit your ass.
And
Cause
here, listen,
sit your ass.
I'm not gonna be one to talk about this because I am not part of the African American community, so I'm not going to talk on how the swagger and things like that because it is not my place. But if we're going to make Kalani cocky, there's different depths that you can make her cocky, but I don't like the direction she's going in because it doesn't feel natural. Now,
It
granted,
doesn't.
maybe if she explores this more and she gets more comfortable with it, I'll be here for it. But right now, it feels like she's still trying to feel it out, and I want to give it some time. But it feels like she's not naturally acclimated to it yet. So that's all I'll say about Kalani. But yeah, with Thea, what did she do? Like, why do we keep not letting her do things? It's crazy out here. But yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
it is
yeah.
definitely a thing, and I honestly wish that. Okay, so she's not very. I wouldn't say good at this aspect of it. It's more of she's not. Trying to think of the word. She's just. I don't think she's comfortable with being that form of cocky or that form of because it comes off pig
Mhm.
arrogant. Like
Mhm.
you're being like when you're being bratty to be bratty, but you're coming off like a jerk. It's like yeah, I'm trying to be a bad bitch, and I'm trying to be all cocky and self confident, but it doesn't it doesn't match who you are. Also, I really feel like they're undervaluing and underusing Thea.
Mhm.
Thea is amazing. I love her. Her TikToks are great. Her social media is hilarious. I got to see the new hair like either I think it was not yesterday, but the day before. Um, and her dog is I believe it's a Chow Chow, and it's just this big fluffy tan cloud, and she calls it Appa, and I'm like, I love you and your
Uh,
dog.
yes.
Let me pet your dog, please. I want to snuggle your fluffy dog. But
Well,
no,
and
it's
yeah.
this is all fun, and like I'm upset that Thea lost. I'm glad that Miss Parker is able to
Well,
kind of
yeah.
shift trajectories away from one
Blake.
side of thing from
Yeah.
Blake and get into a more serious, not serious. I wouldn't say serious. A more
They're pushing her more towards the babyface side. She's still going to be a
yeah.
tweener, but she's going to lean more babyface because she does a babyface thing out here where Kalani attacks Thea after the match, and then Jada comes out to save her. And so, yeah, I'm excited. We're going to talk more about Miss Parker here in a little bit because we don't have to wait long. Mrs. Parker does not have to wait long to get her hands on Kalani, but more on that in a little bit because right now this was a really fun NXT North American contender #1 contenders gauntlet eliminator match. This was hella fun. So of course, this match had Shiloh Hill, Jackson Drake, Charlie Dempsey, and oh my gosh, what am I blinking on one more? Who's Dion Lennox? Sorry, I was just like I forgot.
Yep, those were the 4 that started out.
So those are the 4 that started out. Of course, Shiloh Hill starting us off. Him and Jackson Drake are going back and forth with it. Jackson Drake, I know, listen, Vanity Project annoys my soul, right? Their whole gimmick and presentation annoys my soul. But I love Jackson Drake. I think he's really good in the ring. I really do. His in-ring never ceases to not amaze me, but the characters suck. I hate them because they are literally just fraternity boys. But honestly, it works. But those two are going at it. And then coming in third, you have Dion Lennox, who is very angry and aggressive because of everything that has been happening. And Dark State has been losing a lot. And especially because Dion lost his match against Tony D'Angelo at Vengeance Day. And so Dion wants to try to rectify some stuff and become the #1 contender for the NXT North American Championship. Excuse me. Then,
Bless you.
well, I was yawning, but thanks.
I know it.
So then after that, fourth person to come in is Charlie Dempsey as he's being surrounded by the rest of the Birthright. Still hate that name, hate their music even more.
He was not surrounded by the entirety of the Birthright.
No, he was not because Lex King is not medically cleared. And I was just like, gosh darn it, these NXT house shows keep hurting people. And we're going to talk about another person that got hurt. We literally pulled him and his tag team partner out of the tournament because he got hurt. But we're going to talk about that in a little bit. And so these 4 are fighting. And then we get the 5th entrance. And all of a sudden, I hear someone talking on a microphone that is not on my screen. And I was like, girl, who's talking? And then it's Candace. I'm like, oh, shit. And then we get the return of NXT again from Johnny Gargano. Johnny is here. He is still depressed. And Candace is trying to force him to get into this match. You know, he tries to get into it, but he gets beaten down. And he's just hanging out the whole match. Everyone's yelling, Johnny, get up. Johnny, get in this match. Johnny wrestling. It is fantastic. Well, yeah. This match was a lot of fun, for sure. And then we're going to talk about who won and what that sets up.
Yeah, it was so great that end to end. There was a lot of funny moments, a lot of really good spots. It's like Johnny gets into the ring, reluctantly, obviously, and then freaking, I think it wasn't Charlie Dempsey. It was what's his face?
Trying to get in, and Jackson Drake just kicked him in the face.
Yeah, and he just drops and just lays there on the apron. It's just
Johnny is sad.
I'm gonna be here. I'm just gonna be here and be sad.
It's like, no, Johnny, don't be sad.
No, don't. Come on, get back up. And then the Candace tries to. No. Shiloh gets down and after a while pushes him into the ring, and he just keeps rolling away.
And then Charlie
gets to the other side, and then Charlie pushes away. And he just rolls over to the front.
And then Jackson Drake does it and rolls away.
And then he rolls out, and he rolls up to the barricade. I don't remember who I think it was Charlie Dempsey again hit him, and he just drops, lays down on the barricade.
It's great. So towards the tail end of this match, a lot of things happened, right? So Shiloh Hill eliminates Jackson Drake first. No, he eliminates so OTM come out. Sorry. I gotta make sure I'm looking at this. So OTM come out and my God, decimated Dion through the barricade and then rolled him back in for Shiloh to eliminate him. So OTM had jumped Dion, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. Then Shiloh defeats Jackson Drake again. and then he eliminates Charlie Dempsey, and then the Birthright and Charlie just beat up on Shiloh, and then they decimate him, push him back into the ring. Johnny is still very sad and is just standing in the corner. Woe is me. And so Candace has to push her husband to the floor for the pin, which was hilarious, and how we get that. And your winner and number one contender for the NXT North American Championship and going to Stand and Deliver to fight for the title is Johnny Gargano.
This was so great. He's like, I really don't want to do this anymore. Like he finally got into the ring, and he was like, all right, I really kind of don't want to. And his wife just go. He just falls on top of Shiloh. Shiloh's like, what the hell?
He is knocked out. He is like
he's just like, lights are on, and he's trying to figure out what's going on, and then he hears the 3 count, and it's like, what just happened?
It seems that Shiloh is probably going to be feuding with the Birthright, which I'm okay with. Now Shiloh's going to need some backup though, so I'm wondering who he going to get, and I think he should get Hank and Tank, because they also got beef with the Birthright.
I love those two.
Let that match be at Stand and Deliver too, but Johnny is going to be facing Miles Bourne for the NXT North American Championship at Stand and Deliver. I think this match is going to rule. And so I am looking forward to it when we watch this next weekend. Moving on though. OTM call in the big guns because they got beef with Dark State, and they let it be known that they got receipts for Dark State and they started this mess, but they gonna end it. So they called in some ultimate backup. And who do they call for Madison Square Garden next Tuesday? The one and only TNA World Champion Michael Santana. Mike Santana, the Boricua badass himself, is in the building, and Mike Santana is from New York, y'all. Just so you know, they're like, why is he here? I was just like, because he's from New York and he's fucking Puerto Rican, and I love it. So Mike Santana is going to team up with OTM to take on Dark State, and I swear to God, NXT, pushing Mike Santana aside, you cannot have you can't have your people of color lose this match. I'm sorry. There is no way that OTM and Mike Santana should lose.
This is going to be an interesting match to watch. Now, Mike, here's my thing. They're in Madison Square Garden, and I'm like, but that's Tuesday, and then on Saturday they have to be in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm. And
I'm like,
listen, with all the traffic
at the air traffic map, it probably would have been smarter to leave from fucking Florida.
So you can go.
No, I can't go. I can't afford that shit. I gotta do so much that weekend.
That is very true. Hey, at least you got to go to Vengeance Day, which was a lot of fun.
That was so much fun. I'm upset that I didn't get selected for last night, but you know what? I'm glad I didn't, because I needed a nap super bad. So yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be OTM and Mike Santana versus Dark State next week, which, according to Vic Joseph on commentary, it seems that Cutler James is out due to something, whether it's injury or not being medically clear. So it's going to be Saquon Sugars, Dion Lennox, and Osiris Jackson taking on Mike Santana and OTM next week. So that should be fun. I think that match is going to be fun. So it should be a good time. Alrighty, let's keep this going, because Jada Parker is also getting a match next week at Madison Square Garden. It's going to be her and Kalani Jordan, and Miss Parker going to put them hands on her. Love it. Can't wait. That is
Miss Parker don't play.
Yeah, so I feel like Kalani can lose this one, and I think Jada should get a win. Honestly, for real. I mean, both Kalani and Jada have lost. They both lost at Vengeance Day. They both lost at Vengeance Day. Jada lost to Blake, and Kalani lost to Lola in NXT Underground. So should be fun. But Miss Jada gonna get her hands on Kalani next week at Madison Square Garden. This did make me really sad, though, because I was actually really looking forward to Elio LaFleur and Eli Knight to take on the Colleen in our number one contenders tag team tournament match. However, it was reported that Elio LaFleur got injured during a house show, and so his arm was in a sling. We didn't get any further updates if it was just sprained or if anything was broken. But unfortunately, we were told on air that Elio LaFleur and Eli Knight were pulled from the tournament. So unfortunately, they would not be able to compete. And man, poor Eli Knight, man, because it was supposed to be him and Sean Legacy in this tournament, but Sean got hurt, and so it was Elio and Kevin Knight, and then Elio got hurt, so Eli Knight doesn't get to participate this and all. So the Colleen are without an opponent when they first enter the ring, and then I'm like, who is going to come out and face them? I regret asking that question.
I sure shit don't. This was great.
Nah, I'm just kidding. Listen, gimmick aside, because there is something inherently not my favorite thing when we have listen, at this point in 2026, you don't have to be Mexican or Latino to be a luchador or a luchadora, as we have seen with Agil Blanc, aka Elio LaFleur. If you do it the right way, any person of color can be a luchador. That being said, I still don't like three white guys masquerading as, well, four white guys if you count El Grande Americano Original. Like, you have four white guys running around as fake luchadors when you literally have actual luchadors on the fucking roster. Make it make sense, WWE, but my soapbox aside, this was a fun match. I actually had a blast, and like Sean Spears, you fucking cracked me up this match. Like we were having we were having some funny moments between everyone. And I was just like, this was actually a really fun match. And Los Americanos, so Rayo and Bravo Americano win this match, and they move on. I believe it's to the final round. So I think it's going to be Los Americanos versus the Birthright in the finals to determine who's going to become number one contender for the NXT Tag Team Champions and face the Vanity Project.
Now I'm gonna kind of like scooch over to your soapbox for a moment about luchadors, because as one of the whitest people on our panel, and one who is not very submersed into luchador culture and history, everything I see about El Grande Americano, not original, but Americano, he's immersed himself and actually is trying to do his best to actively be a good representation of luchador. He's trying to be a good lucha. He's trying to make it so that way he's not making fun of, which is kind of the original way they went with the gimmick. Is trying to poke fun at luchadors. He's actually embracing the history and the culture of it. He won Rey de Reyes, which is immensely amazing. That okay. First off, I'm gonna pause everything. That's a fucking cool championship. How many fucking championships get a fucking sword?
Well, the cool thing with Rey de Reyes too is like technically he is number one contender for the AAA Mega Championship, but I do love the whole presentation of like him being knighted that opportunity with the sword and everything, which is fantastic and amazing, and we love it.
Fucking cool as shit.
Rey de Reyes has been really fun in AAA for sure. Anyways, continue.
And same with Rio and Bravo. Yes, it's supposed to be a gimmick. It's supposed to originally be, we're gonna make not really make fun of, but we're going to parody slightly. And then it became more of an homage and it more of, we're actually going to try and do this properly, even though it's the WWE way of doing it properly, which is not great. They probably should have got proper luchadors for this show, but or for these two characters. but they probably had nothing to do with the two guys that are under the masks. But like, it's still it's great. I love what they're doing. I love how over they are in Mexico, and how much. Hold on, I gotta mute myself. How much how much they're actually having a lot of fun with it, and it's great. So I'm gonna move forward because this is gonna be a very interesting match, to say the least. Sorry, I had to also while I'm sitting there having this conversation, I had to go over to Kick, relog into Kick because I forgot I had cleared my a lot of stuff off of my computer, and then banned someone because, hey, we don't like bots around here.
We don't do bots in the channel. No, but I agree with you. I am very interested to see, and I think this is the finals because I think it's a really short tournament. So it's going to be Los Americanos versus the Birthright in this match to see who faces the Vanity Project boys, which should be a fun match, anyways. And I'm pretty sure that tag team match is happening at. Honestly, I think all the championships should be on the line at Stand and Deliver. It's the biggest show of the year, so we will continue to monitor this. As we get closer to Stand and Deliver. Excuse me. This was great.
Oh my god, this was so good.
So of course we start out like what we got to see of Blake Monroe when she first debuted. She's taking a bubble bath. She has the NXT Women's North American Champion. Like, she's champion. I'm like, girl, you stole it. Now, earlier in the show, we got to talk about this. I love Shiloh Hill and Tatum Paxley's friendship. And so earlier in the show, Shiloh gives her the coordinates of where Blake is, and he explained it. And I also love it's just like, I said this in my YouTube videos. It's like, do you not watch my channel? Which I was just like, oh my gosh, so relatable.
No.
But Tatum gets the coordinates. Blake is in the bubble bath. Someone's knocking at the door. She's like, "Oh, somebody's here for me," or whatever. She goes to the door. Room service. Tatum, like, she opens the door. Tatum pops in like The Shining. Blake tries to close the door, but Tatum yoinks that hair. She's like, "Listen to me. You have my title, and you better bring it to when we meet face to face next week." Tatum is not playing around, and I love it.
I'm loving every minute of it. Come on. Get him, like, Tot. Get him.
I was like, Blake, you picked the wrong person. This chick is crazy, and we love her for it, but this bitch be crazy. And she literally rolled up to your house, quote unquote. So I'm like, get it together. But I cannot wait. We're going to get a face-to-face next week, and I'm pretty sure we're getting a match at Stand and Deliver. Like, please, let's do it, because it's fun, and I'm here for it. Or who knows? We'll see what happens. Alrighty, it's just about that time. We're about to hit our final match. The main event is here, so I am posting links to all of our stuff in this chat again, so you can check out our social medias and our merch store, all there in the chats. And while you listen to us talk about the main event, so main event time of NXT is Mr. Tony D'Angelo taking on Ricky Saints. Now, I immediately smelled a plot. I knew this match was not going to end any other way. So the match is going. It's fine. Everything is going pretty good. But then we get Ethan Page and all the nonsense come in. And we get a DQ because Ethan is out here causing problems. Joe also comes out here. The four of them are at odds with one another. Long story short, Robert Stone makes it official after calming down the chaos at Stand and Deliver. It is a fatal four-way for the NXT Championship. Joe Hendry defending the title against Ethan Page, Ricky Saints, and Tony D'Angelo. So, not the worst fatal four-way they have ever put together on paper in NXT. There have been worse, in my personal opinion, way before this. My money is on Joe or Tony D'Angelo walking out as champion. I'm leaning towards more Joe Hendry retaining. I don't think he should be losing the title yet, but my second bet would be on to Tony D'Angelo. So on paper, I think this should be a fun match, but it's been
this
a
would be great.
weird revolving door of all these four.
It is. I'm kind of getting tired of it. All I see is one of two things. Well, one of three things really happening. It's either Joe's retreating, Tony's taking over, or Ethan somehow comes out on top. I don't think they're putting Ricky back out on this. If they do anything with Ethan and going forward after this in NXT, I don't think, honestly, I don't think they will. I think they're going to pull him up. Although although the hinting that I've been seeing with the way that Chelsea Green has been talking, that there might be a breakup between those two, which saddens me because those two are amazing together. And so I think more than likely, if after Stand and Deliver, they may pull Ethan Page up to main roster. But honestly, only really acceptable champion out of this match for me at least, is either Tony or Joe Hendry. And if they give it to Tony,
one of those two,
Joe needs to go back up to main roster. Like, he had a WrestleMania moment last year, which was great. But he should definitely be back. He should be pulled up to main roster after WrestleMania if he loses the title at Stand and Deliver.
I'm telling you, put him on. Well, I mean, he goes between both shows, but can you imagine a Joe Hendry Danhausen tag team?
Dude, I want freaking Joe. That would be interesting. I don't know did I send you the Danhausen sneaking into Ethan Page?
You did.
Okay, that was hilarious.
It was. So, but I agree with you, Kilt. I think the two best options that I will be happy with is Joe retaining or Tony taking it. Now, if Joe ends up retaining, then you can have him and Tony feud, which would be fine. And then Ricky and Ethan can feud. That doesn't involve them in the championship scene. So I'm okay with that too. But yeah, Joe Hendry is my first pick, but Tony D'Angelo taking it would not make me mad at all. I do think this should be a really fun match. And as we have seen, NXT's Fatal 4-Ways tend to be hit or miss. But you know what? Like with the Fatal 4-Way at Heatwave, what was it, last year when we had Javon and Ethan and Trick and Sean Spears was really good. So I think this should be a lot of fun too. And that brings us to the end of our NXT show. This was a pretty fun NXT. We got some matches made officially for Stand and Deliver. We are finalizing some other matches being made. And next week at Madison Square Garden, it is the go home show for NXT. And we'll be back here next Wednesday to cover it and make our predictions for Stand and Deliver. So that should be a lot of fun. But we got a lot of other stuff happening the remainder of this week as we get closer to the end for the weekend of rest and relaxation. Or for most of us, I'm still working here at BC WrestlePod with it. But later on tonight, I will be here to be covering CMLL. So it will just be me and our unofficial digital co-host, Primo Agent Lo-Fi, as we talk about a very special Viernes Espectacular, as we talk about the retirement of El Santanico. And we had the Death Riders, who John Moxley specifically debut, and Death Riders taking on Scott Mystico and Sky Team for the Trios Championships, and Claudio Castagnoli and Hechicero for the CMLL World Heavyweight Championship. So I'll be here a little bit later to talk about that. Then on Friday, the TNA crew will be here to not only talk about the go home show for TNA, but we will also be making our predictions for TNA Sacrifice, which is the next pay-per-view coming up this weekend for TNA. So stick around for that. And then on Saturday morning, to wrap up the week, I will be here at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, as me and my good friend Benny. We will be covering the Ring of Honor and Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling crossover show, Global Wars Canada. So, and then next week, I saved this announcement till the very end, but next Saturday, April 4th, 2026, the crew will be here doing a live watch along for NXT Stand and Deliver. So 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. I like that start time because I can have an early dinner and then we'll be done and still have a rest of the evening to do stuff. Can't say the same for Kilt because it will be probably 10 p.m. Eastern for him when we get done. But you know what? It's better than like 12 a.m., 1 a.m.
Wait, hold on. A 4 p.m. start time, right?
Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Never mind. They had a problem. No, because it won't be 3 hours.
Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
But that is what we're doing next Saturday. So grab your popcorns. We gonna be here and we're gonna do a live watch along. So it'll probably be me and Kilt. I want to try to persuade Papa Oso, but I know he is busy right now with spring's trimester. But yeah, hopefully he'll be back next week, and if not, he'll give us his. I'll read his predictions off at the show next week. But we got to get up on out of here because I'm gonna go eat some dinner real quick and then hop on back in another hour to cover CMLL. But from all of us here at BC WrestlePod to you at home, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We'll catch you later for CMLL in a little bit. But until then, sayonara, adios, and until next time, peace.
Big